We accept the reality of the world with which we're presented.
I've never talked about this. I have so much emotions and tension and feeling in my chest. Shame cannot survive being spoken out loud. What are we doing about the cost of living crisis right now? How much are we spending on the food shop?
Hello everybody and welcome back to another monthly vlog. June was a doozy because most of this video is likely taken up by a very difficult, embarrassing, long time coming topic of conversation. I wanted to just inject a little bit of lightness at the start and tell you about 3 of my favourites from June. Favourite product, favourite meal, favourite day. Product that I am obsessed with at the moment. It's the Nux Paris Houlet Produits Neroli version. I'm probably saying all of that wrong. If you're French, let me know. It's a multi-purpose dry oil for the face, body and hair. It's got organic oils in it and it smells divine. It's such a summer smell to me, like it's really fresh and it smells green. You know, maybe that's why they have a green bottle on this version. Yeah, I don't know, like citrusy. Because I don't wear fake tan, this just makes my skin look much more beautiful when I have short sleeves. Obviously it's hydrating and nourishing, but it also gives your skin antioxidant protection because it's got vitamin E and that's supposed to protect your skin from like free radicals and pollution. And I love it. I love it after my shower. And then the meal I've had like every single day is so this is one that I've been preparing the night before for breakfast the next morning. It takes 1 minute to mix this up. I mix 2 scoops of organic oats. I just pour in a bunch of chia seeds and then I pour on top of that kefir. Kefir is so good for your gut. It's also been shown to be helpful for people with ADHD like myself, and yeah, it's extremely good for you. If you've never had it, it's like a fermented drink with loads of probiotics. So kind of like natural yogurt, except more tangy. So the reason I like having it in an overnight oats preparation like this, so this is what it looks like then the next morning when I take that out of the fridge. I leave it in the fridge overnight covered. Take it out, I add a teaspoon of Manuka honey. Manuka honey is great if you've got preschoolers who are bringing in illnesses into the house and stuff. It's really soothing on a sore throat, and yeah, it like counteracts the tanginess of the kefir. So I'll add in a teaspoon of Manuka honey and then some fruit on top or on the side, some almond butter as well. And I've been having it with different fruits all month, like some days I'll have kiwis and blueberries. Some days I'll have just dates. Yeah, but it's just the texture. And I eat this cold. It's an overnight oats dish, and the texture is so like gloopy and puddingy, and I get really excited to wake up and have it in the morning. And yeah, I had that almost every single day. My bowels are delighted with me. Yeah, do try it. And then my favourite day of the month by a mile, my son's preschool graduation. He had like, his teachers did like a little cap and gown ceremony thing. And when I tell you, I sobbed seeing this photo, like just looking at his face in this, I feel like I can see my son as a man. Like I can see what he's gonna look like. She put together a big book full of loads of work he did during the year and photos of him and his friends and stuff. But the best thing that my son's preschool do, so I never shared where he went to school, obviously for privacy reasons, and my daughter isn't going to be going here because she's going to have to go to a preschool closer to where my son's primary school is. How is he starting primary school? He's nearly 5. The preschool he went to was this place. I cannot speak more highly of his teachers. Like, on the last day we went and got them little gifts, little boxes of chocolates and little handmade lavender soaps, and wrote them some lovely cards. I adored his teachers. So they do observations over the year to share then with the parents, and I know not all schools do this, but like here it has like the importance of observations, and she's kind of inserted a lot of them. But the stuff that she said about him in it, like there's not a bad word about my child in this. Humour me for a moment, because this is just such a nice feeling as a parent when, you know, there's no rule book with parenting. There's no guidebook. There's no way to know if you're doing things right or doing things wrong, and we all do some right and some wrong. And the thing is as well, with me being in the public eye and sharing a lot of my parenting decisions, like long-term co-sleeping, long-term breastfeeding, I had so many people tell me like, you're creating a monster. But yeah, like a lot of people just telling me that my son was just going to be an absolute little shit. And so it just feels very good and like validating, I suppose, to know that actually no. And I don't know how much of this is nature, how much of this is nurture. All I know is at least I've not screwed him up. I've done a good job. Obviously we like to call him Pan on this channel, so Pan for pandemic baby. She said, Pan is a super kid. He is ever so gentle and polite, funny and very respectful towards others' needs and feelings. He loves learning and has great passion for the outdoors and the wonders of nature. Pan has formed strong bonds and friendships with a lot of the children in the classroom, and we wish them to continue to prosper in the future. And I'm so excited for this whole next chapter to begin of like primary school and like doing homework. Where are your children at if you're a mommy or a daddy? Feel free to share your favourites down below, but I will just get on with this video. It is a long one, so feel free to watch it in chunks. And I'd love to know your thoughts and feelings on the big chat that takes up a huge portion of this video. Good luck.
Start the next set.
I'm the kind of nigga little homies wanna get up, pack it in, let me begin, jump around.
Good morning and welcome to a very miserable, rainy Irish day. I'm starting this month's vlog really late. It's like the middle of the month.
Where are we going?
We are going to a Lego coffee morning in the local GAA club. It's a fundraiser for Palestine.
Mommy, where are we going?
I just told you, baby. We have all had some awful virus since the start of the month. I went to see my brother and we all caught it on the same day we went out for a meal. If it's not been a throat, it's been a cough, it's been headaches, it's been my nose. I just said I need to turn on this camera and get things going. What movie did we go see last night, mister?
Dragon.
Not Dragonheart, but that is an amazing movie. We went to see the live action remake of How to Train Your Dragon and it was so good. I have never seen How to Train Your Dragon, the original, this one. This was based apparently on books. How have these stories never been in my life? You know me. I love dragons. I love Vikings. I spent 2 summers working on the show Vikings. The vibes of this story is just like everything I love, and I have been introduced to this series through the live action remake. I downloaded through YouTube the original movie this morning. We watched a little chunk of it. We tend to do TV in chunks in our house, so we'll do 30 minutes in the morning and 30 minutes later in the day. If we're going to let the kids watch a full movie, we'll keep the telly time for like one chunk and add on a little bit but that's only once a week or so. And anyway, so we watched the first 30 minutes of the original movie and it's almost frame for frame the same as the live action remake, and I know that's kind of cool for me because I'm like new to it, so I kind of got to experience the story as it's supposed to be. But I'd say it's a bit annoying if you're like a hardcore fan and you're expecting something a bit more fresh. Been doing a lot while I've had this cold, been thinking about a lot. So many chats I want to have in this vlog about things that I've never talked about on here. that are quite juicy. So stay tuned. Let's go raise some money for people who really bloody need it. And on with the vlog.
On with the vlog.
On with the vlog. We've been listening to a lot of opera in the house this month. My grandparents loved opera, sang opera, and I'm trying to get the kids acquainted with the music I grew up with. When I tell you that Drop Chef is the reason I managed to get so many different plants into my diet, I am not joking. It's like an Irish HelloFresh. I've mentioned them before. This is a curry, and these were a lot of the different ingredients in this. With kids, I find it very hard to organise, meal plan, organise to have all the right food in the house. And I would never eat such a variety across the week if I didn't have this service. I'm obsessed. There's peanut butter in this. It's amazing. Right, we're doing this. We need a light. I'm gonna do a bit of a laundry chat because I have to fold all of these clothes, but I have so much emotions and tension and feeling in my chest. I'm having a flare up of my mind body symptoms, bit of IBS going on, the burning skin, all the rest. And so there is emotion that needs to be released within my body. And I figured, why not do this with you? Because I've never talked about this. I've never talked about this online, I don't think. I had filmed loads of cute little bits and things to insert here, like going to Newbridge Farm with the kids. And my son won his first jiu-jitsu competition, 2 medals. He won a gold and a silver, and I'm so proud of him, and it was such a nice day, and I had all this lovely stuff to share. And then some big news has broken in my world of being a YouTuber, Instagram, all the rest. And I'll just read a bit from an article before I start. But basically, for I don't even know how many years now, there has been a massive website which has been described in various articles as the most toxic place on the internet. A website full of threads. It's kind of like a forum. It's called Tattle Life. Just think like the trash magazines back in the 90s, 2000s. And that culture and the kind of people who enjoyed that. And anyway, it's a website like that, except probably a million times worse. Full to the brim with criticism on celebrities and influencers, bodies, how they are as parents, their relationships, how they go about their business. Loads of anonymous users, but little to no proof of the things they're talking about. It's just a place for them to go and have a big bitch. Yeah, people should be able to have their say. A lot of us have learned and been told by therapists over the years to block accounts, mute accounts. You know, I understand that people feel a need to be able to, get stuff off their chest. And so I've always I've understood why it's there or whatever. But before I get into it, the puppet master of Tattle has been exposed. The man, because of course it's a man, a vegan male influencer as well. He had a page with basically as many followers as me on Instagram. This man has been profiting off of these threads for years. Every time anyone visits that website, this man makes money. But yeah, the reason he's been unmasked is because a fellow Irish influencer, a couple actually, they sued the publishers of the website, and this says they were granted an application to reveal his name. His name is Sebastian Bond. Hello, Sebastian. I hope you're watching.
How would you feel if people were writing completely untrue and extremely abusive comments about you, posting all your personal details online and claiming to be watching you in real life?
This is a historic judgment, I understand.
Sorry, I've been folding, just trying to figure out how to start here. The reason I need to talk to you about this Like, this affected my content even. Before I did any therapy about it, which I had to do a lot, I started self-editing myself. Like, every thought I wanted to share, everything I ever went to post. Back in the day, I was very raw, very vulnerable with my audience. Like, I had Snapchat and I was just very in the moment. Just this website affected me so much that I pivoted my content completely on Instagram to, you know, I mostly do stuff about movies and nostalgia and this and that, and the kinds of things where if people have an opinion on what I say, it doesn't really, like, affect me to the same level that if I'm sharing certain stuff, when people have an opinion on that, then I start questioning myself, and I get it really affected my mental and physical health and my what I've been posting. And starting these monthly vlogs again was a big challenge to myself, because I'd gone so long not looking at Tattle, and you know, I was like, right, I'm at a point now where I just don't give a shite that it's out there. Like, I've made peace with the fact that this website exists with every kind of opinion you could imagine, and every kind of lie, every kind of criticism, judgment, like, on every part of me. And I've been online for 12 years, so think about that. The reason I want to talk about it is because I'm done with the shame. And the shame, firstly, shame cannot survive being spoken out loud. That's why confession is so good for people. That's why therapy is so good for people. And even just talking to, like, a trusted loved one, speaking your emotions and acknowledging them is really, really vital. And I'm after spending days talking to lots of different content creators and, like, voice notes and stuff, because we're all like, oh my god, these people sued and made hundreds of thousands, and, like, you know, this is probably the beginning of the end of the anonymity of a lot of people on that website. Like, I have definitely considered pursuing certain users. Well, I don't even know where to begin with this conversation. Get some tea. I'm just done pretending that I'm not aware of it. Over the years, I have tried really hard to, in my own brain, pretend it doesn't exist, because just to survive. I know a lot of people who have left blogging, YouTube, Instagram because of this website, people who've lost relationships and broken up with partners. I know people who have self-harmed, who have been in so much therapy, like massive creators, small, tiny creators. Like, no one is safe from this cesspit. I definitely haven't read all of what's on there about me. I am aware of a lot of the worst of it. Even certain family members, like, can't help but check it and tell me about it, and, you know, allow me to just fire some of these at you. So I'm a fake feminist, I'm delusional, I'm a narcissist. I jump on trends to stay relevant. So, you know, it's the good old say nothing and you don't give a crap, and say something and you're performative. Apparently I faked feeling depressed. Apparently I've lied about every health condition any doctor has ever labelled me with. Now, we all know that, like, doctors are not always right, and, you know, if they say, oh, like, you have generalized anxiety disorder, and then I went years without having a panic attack, or they say, like, you have IBS, but we actually don't know what IBS is, and then I had no IBS for years. Like, these are just, I just share things as they're said. But I've been accused on there of having Munchausen's. Is that right? Munchausen's? Like, me being in physio after I had a neck injury, and then, you know, I had scans and I had just so much in and out of physio, so much neck pain, constantly wearing, like, heat packs on my neck, or, like, and sometimes needing a neck brace, and, like, not commenting that much on it online. But then, yeah, I would, like, I would post something in a neck brace, and then suddenly, like, that's, like, a whole massive thing. Just imagine that microscope held up to every single thing you choose to do, choose to say, wear, buy for your house, like, every decision you make about parenting. I'm anti-vax. I didn't know that. I had no idea I was anti-vax, seeing as I'm vaccinated and my children are vaccinated, and I've encouraged people to get vaccinated. I think once or twice I mentioned that I was really nervous about getting vaccinated because I was breastfeeding and it was a new vaccine and I was waiting for like the HSE in Ireland and the NHS to have the same advice, because at the time they both had conflicting, like one of them was saying breastfeeding people should get it and one was saying they shouldn't or whatever, and I was like really nervous. But like, these people went to brands with that and said, how dare you work with this anti-vax? She's like this secret conservative and she like lies about all her political opinions, and just, I can't even, I don't, like, this is not even the tip of the iceberg. I'm obsessed with myself, and I'm a negligent, terrible mother. I'm the worst mother. My poor children, my poor children, to have me as a mother. They're the type of people that'll take like one thing said at one time and hold you to that forever. Like, oh, my son is struggling with food right now and all he'll eat is lentil pasta with tomato sauce. Don't even think that's bad of a bad meal. But anyway, then it's like, that's all your son eats. And they're still harping on about this. I checked it today. Haven't checked it in so long, and I just had to. It's really died down a lot. I think I'm less relevant now, which is great. Or hopefully maybe these people have found some lives, which that would be better. That would be nice. But yeah, if you say that once, then it's like if you don't constantly update on the same thing, it's like no time passes and they're like, oh, you just don't even cook for your poor children and they're starving, and they like look at the rags that they walk around in, and like they'll, like at my house, like I am so privileged and so lucky to own a half an acre in Dublin, but what they will do is they'll pick on where the town it is, the town that I'm in, because they know, oh, she once said she wanted to live in this town and she had to buy in that town. Oh, just mad stuff. Like, I have no friends. She has no friends. Like my husband, a man who wouldn't hurt a fucking fly, who is the most hardworking, loving, loyal man. And, you know, he used to be so comfortable online and in my videos, and he like opened up about like having a hair transplant, hoping to like help other men. And like, even after that, they nicknamed him Baldy. They'd speculate about his sexuality. Like, just fucking, during the pandemic, like, he just really pulled back from it. He was like, this is just not worth it. I think he looked at it once because I was trying to show him something, and he was just like, how is this allowed? Like, the most horrible lies and like real slander, like genuine slander, that I bought all my followers. Like, apparently none of you exist. You're all bots. And to try and like back that up, they'd, you know, if I had a reel go, this happens to everybody. If you have a reel go viral, it'll be with this certain demographic in a certain country or whatever. So if a reel would go viral, they would like choose that time to go in and look at whatever new followers I was getting, and they'd try and find a page where, I don't know, like there was certain faceless accounts or whatever, and then to be like, look, this is bots and this is all fake. She's paid for all these bots. My company would not have been making 6 figures a year for this long if I was paying for my followers or my engagement or any of that. I've never done that. I have never done that. And brands have a way of making sure, like verifying before they part with thousands of euros for one sponsorship. They have ways of verifying that this message is going to reach real people. And yet, if someone says that and writes that somewhere, it's like they write it and then anyone who reads it, it's just like, oh, maybe that's true. Maybe that is true. You feel this immediate need, like me, a perfectionist, like all the problems, all the worst things about myself that I already know, you know, are blasted back at you. Like, I know this is a bad thing about myself, that I feel the need to explain and over-explain myself and stuff like that. And so being able to master reading the most horrible thing about myself and knowing it's not true, but not diving in and like interjecting. Like, they said I bullied loads of Irish YouTubers. I'm a bully. Like, find anyone that will tell you that I am a bully, that I am a troll, that I've trolled myself, I've trolled other content creators. But it gets so much worse. It gets so much worse. So the main way that my attention was really drawn to this site was when we bought this house. I was told, Melanie, your address has been leaked on Tattle Life. I posted an Instagram story or a Snapchat of when we were looking at houses, Thomas up a ladder. I think this is what it was. Now, don't hold me to that. I get things wrong. If I'm recounting something a long time after the fact, I get it wrong. Like when I was talking about my ovary one time and everyone said I lied about having PCOS, which I never said I had. I explicitly said I didn't have PCOS. But anyway, I remember using the term gammy ovary because I had a scan and some cysty thing, whatever. But I remember like in different comments, I'd like said it was a different side or something. I have ADHD. We now know this, and I do forget things and I get things wrong, and I'm a flawed human being and I fucking mess up and I am loud and I am at times cringe and I overshare. I can bite back in replies. I'm not everyone's cup of tea, but I don't deserve to be dehumanized. No one does. No one deserves to have their entire character assassinated. My reaction to this always has been, and I used to say it in therapy, like, why can't they just message me? Why can't you just come to me and message me? Why does it have to be this like public, almost like burning at the stake? Like, I just imagine how these people would feel if every negative thing they'd ever thought about themselves or that anyone else had thought about them had like a compilation of all that publicly accessible on the internet. Like, think about what that does to you. You have to be a very strong person to not, because people have, as I said, quit this amazing job because of the fact that people get away with this and have gotten away with it for so long, and hopefully no more. I refuse to disappear just because some people would love to see my life crumble. But yeah, the house thing, sorry, getting on a tangent, but Thomas was like up a ladder looking at the attic, and I think I mentioned in text on screen, like he was already talking about where we would put our Christmas tree in this particular house. So we were like, want to make a bid or whatever, or had we made the bid? I don't remember. I purposely obscured certain things in this image or whatever, but it was like, you know, the thing where the steps come down from up the attic. Someone went through all of the house selling websites like daft.ie and all that, and if you're in Ireland, they went through all of the surrounding towns where I lived, every house, and looked through every picture to find pictures of hallways to try and match up the roof of the hallway, and they found their match and they posted my house. Like, they doxed me. They basically doxed me because they wanted everyone to know how much we were spending on a house. I'm pretty sure this only was up for a while because obviously the website, once you buy a house, the website takes down the house, so other people aren't going to keep going to do viewings. But like, for the first like year or two that I was here, I was, you know, we were like CCTV, new alarm system, like gates, like, you know, I was so, like, I felt so fucking violated by that. There have been other things like that, like, we don't share our children's names on the internet. My aunt, God love her, like, she didn't do this on purpose. I had put something up and about my son's birthday or something, and my auntie commented his name underneath the picture. Yeah, obviously someone saw that, immediately runs to Tattle to tell everyone what my son's name is. And I've as well, like, other times accidentally, you know, when I've been vlogging, like, there's been like something with his name on it in the background that I didn't notice in the edit, and then I go in and add in like a blur box, like a blur thing, after the fact. But like, yeah, so people they just wanted to just overstep my boundaries. Like, what a horrible thing to do. It's such a horrible thing to do. I don't know if that ever happened with my daughter. I hope not. There's been some really serious things come out of, like, impacts on my life from that website. Screw it. I'm gonna do this. I'm gonna show you, if you go into my most viewed posts, I'm just going to kind of show you the level of this. Like, it is not just trolling, but look, see this, like, these are the usernames, but this same person seems to have set up all of these threads. This person sets up a lot. This one is one of my most obsessed, this doggy person, and the stuff that they say goes so beyond just like,
holding content creators to account. Like, you know, they speculate about my marriage, my relationship with my husband all the time. Like, you know, obviously lots and lots and lots of body shaming, calling me a fascist. That was a big one. I trended on Twitter as a fascist for defending people's right to go to anti-lockdown protests during COVID. And yeah, they went to like brands with that, slagging me because I was living with my in-laws to save money for a house. Like, it is just... So I'll go through some of my most liked posts on there, making fun of my writing. I ended up pulling back from sharing like little poems and stuff on Instagram, even though they were doing really well. Just, yeah, constant piss taking, acting like I'm anti-abortion, even though I have always been very vocally pro-choice. I made an entire short film about abortion. I remember being accused of making that to like jump on some bandwagon to like make money, even though I spent thousands making it and didn't make any money back from it because I couldn't monetize it because obviously it's full of swearing. This one, again, this is something that they do an awful lot. Like, if you don't say every single word that's in your brain, they will make massive assumptions about how you feel or about certain things, or about the type of person that you are. Saying that I was some kind of COVID denier, that was like a big one. Saying I never promote breastfeeding in an inclusive way. I'm like super anti-formula, couldn't be further from the truth.
Formula is literally a miracle, and millions of babies would be dead if it wasn't for formula. It's incredible. Your girl here was 100% formula fed.
This person made a meme with my husband on a charity like money box or something, because during the pandemic we were being quite vocal online about his industry, like he was at risk of losing his job and people really didn't like that and were acting like he was a charity case. So yeah, dragging him into everything. There was like people accusing me of plagiarism as well. They took a scene that I had shared of like my first draft. Were saying I like lifted the entire thing from an old video by a YouTuber, and she and I ended up talking loads about this because she is a writer as well, and this was a video I had watched in the lead up to writing this scene, and there were absolutely similarities. Like, every single novel is speckled with conversations you've overheard, experiences you've had, relationships you've had. Like, ask any single writer and she completely understood. I think these people went to my publishers. Yeah, you'll see that's happening all the time. Like right now it's Mel Robbins, the whole let them theory is like she's been accused of plagiarizing. Anyway, yeah, apparently I plagiarized my entire novel. They seem to love this video where I had recorded myself. I was trying to record myself singing and I just ended up crying a lot. It was a video I made about the movie A Star Is Born, which made me extremely emotional. I was having alcohol problems at the time. The film is about an alcoholic who like kills himself, and yeah, I'm emotional and this is cringe. I'm glad that video brought you lots of joy. There's a lot of this. So you weren't an alcoholic, you were just a dickhead when you were drunk. I was a dickhead when I was drunk. That's why I stopped drinking, and I never said I was an alcoholic. And this happens so much on this website, where they say you said something that you didn't say. Happens all the time. This is the kind of thing where, yeah, they're keeping like tabs on different issues I've had, many of which were extremely interconnected. They're like undiagnosed ADHD in her eyes, and even getting a diagnosis, they're just still like, no, you don't have that. It's just absolutely crazy reading through stuff like this about yourself. They'll slag your clothes, meaningful objects like your engagement ring. They'll tell you you're wrong about things they've no idea about, like, my baby is so heavy. No, he's not. Like, it's just, some of it's just like literally just straight up bullying. A lot of silly, harmless stuff, you know, like there's so much more serious stuff buried, but like, yeah, constantly trying to like come between you and your friends. Many, many accusations that I've read and I can't even remember, but yeah.
I had written a book in my mid-20s. It is called Fully Functioning Human Almost, Living in an Online Offline World. If you own that book, you're leaving a pink heart under this video because the original cover was pink. And I had a whole chapter about trolling, and like I went into this from the early days very aware of psychology, very interested in psychology, why people would do that, you know, hurt people, all that kind of stuff, like why people project, why people can get very obsessed with certain people online when they are holding a mirror back at something that they dislike about themselves. So like I from the early days knew that my biggest fans included some of my biggest haters. There's another content creator, we were close friends and we're friends again now, but we, you know, a lot happened. Let's just say we both had involvements with the same person. And for many years I looked at her and just thought like, what does she have that I don't? And like comparing myself, and I obsessively looked at everything she posted, and I've told her all this, like we talk now all the time, and I love her. And the reason for that obsession was that things about her were shining a light on things about me that I either didn't like or believed had to change. I understand these people more than they probably think I do. And there's also like, you know, when I was breastfeeding, when I had a baby, that's when things got way worse. Sending my love to every pregnant influencer, because that's when shit hits the fan. That's when things get really, really bad. Because there's so many people. Like my last video, hopefully that's up by now. My last video is about my friend who, you know, went and had a baby without a partner, using a sperm donor. And I know a lot of people have like had that kind of chance, that moment where like, do I do this? And then they haven't done it, and then they've really regretted not doing it, or they can't have kids because of physical stuff or whatever. And when they see people having babies and getting married and appearing happy, you know, some people are happy all the time, blissfully happy. Some people are miserable and pretend they're happy. Some people are a bit of both. Some people are just content and they share their highlight reel. That's probably where I'm at. Like, I'm very content. I'm not blissfully like walking on cloud 9 all the time, but I'm nowhere near depressed, and I tend to share happy moments, like the way most people use social media. When I do share the bad stuff, people think I'm attention seeking, so you can't win. But because I have done that, I've like made videos about like, oh, you know, like me and my husband had a sleep divorce for a couple of years, and went ages without even having sex, and everything. Like I share like really honest stuff, and people use it against me. So it just makes me then just want to only show the like moments where we're all happy and smiling. And I'm not wearing my denture right now. I hope that's not very obvious. I can't find it. I love having ADHD. Apparently I don't really have ADHD, even though I was diagnosed. So yeah, this website, I've gone on about this for a long time. I'm sorry. But this has been on my shoulders for a long time, and I've not wanted to mention the website because I don't want to point a torch at it and be like, oh, this exists, because it's owned by a scumbag. Sebastian, you're a scumbag. I know you two were a hurt little boy who is now hurting other people, because hurt people, but like, you know, there comes a point where, you know, like in war, where it's like, if you're gonna like shoot my whole family, it kind of makes sense that I am firing rockets at you. We do have to look at people as layered and flawed and all that kind of stuff, but you have to take the full context, and like, people can't get away with this. Like, obviously things will change with the internet. Like, I hope it just becomes impossible to be anonymous on these bloody platforms, and for there to be some kind of easy, like quick legal action you can take when people are slandering and harassing. Like, I've been harassed by so many people, and I will always engage with people who are like polite with constructive criticism. Everyone deserves constructive criticism. I have grown a lot from constructive criticism that I've gotten over the years about in many areas, because as I said earlier, I'm not perfect, and I'm not saying you shouldn't critique people. It's just the way they do it, especially like the body shaming, and like, you know, me, like I've expressed like concerns about aging and stuff like that, and trying really hard to be comfortable aging naturally, and yet like they'll be like, oh, that's a insecurity of hers, so like let's latch on to that, and let's point out how haggard and tired and horrible she looks. And you know, when I lost weight, like, it's so bad. Like, yeah, the last time like I read through, I'll scroll through and I'll read like a couple on each thread, and to gain a picture of the general consensus. And the general consensus on there is that I'm an unfit, terrible mother who's crazy and just makes up loads of shit to tell people online. And yeah, I'd say there'll still be lots more chats this week with other creators who are delighted that this guy has been unmasked and are, you know, figuring out like, shall I sue? Sorry, my camera died. Where's my friend gone? My friend's not here anymore.
She's gone.
She's gone. Yeah, sorry, camera died, and then Thomas got back with the kids and Mammy Duties called. While it's not raining, I thought I'd show you what we were working on over the month. But to tie up all of that Tattle stuff, I thought I'd share that with you, because when I say this job is not for everyone and this is not for the weak, and it has massive downsides and stuff, you see a lot of the positives and I try and focus on the positives, but the way through this is not just to be like, to smile and pretend it's not happening. Like, maybe I do that online, and I have done that online, but in my private life I talk about it with people and I feel all the feelings that it brings up, because no one is immune to those feelings. Like, no one could read those things written about themselves and not feel all kinds of things, you know? Anyway, last month our patio looked like this, what you're seeing on screen. And basically what happened is we had a play date. My son tried to climb over the wall. One of the capstones came loose and almost crushed his foot. And I lost my mind, because I had told him, don't climb on the walls. You know, obviously he's 4, he's going to test boundaries. And we then realised a lot of the capstones were loose. So Thomas was like, I was just like, oh, maybe, I say we, you can just re-cement them on. And at first we were going to do that, but then he went a bit mad and he did what he does, and he gave himself a massive new project where him and his dad built this absolutely gorgeous kind of planter along the walls. Like, is that a beautiful pink plant?
Yeah.
I need to learn all the names of them.
My pink one.
Is that your pink one?
Yeah.
Did you put all these flowers in the pots?
Yeah.
Yeah, you did do that.
And what them one?
That's lavender. That's one of Mummy's favourites. But yeah, it goes all around the walls of the patio. But basically, yeah, Thomas and his dad built this all around the walls, and then I painted the wall white, and already, so Thomas has to screw some holes in the other side of the wood, because we realised, like, obviously the water is draining down and dirtying the white paint, so may need another coat after he's drained the holes. But I painted. I still have to do most of the other side. I think, yeah, I stopped halfway down there, and then I got all the compost and all of the plants. My lovely tattlers will probably think that I did none of that I secretly hired a gardener. But no, I did, and I planted all these, and I'm delighted with myself. But the pièce de résistance is this fabulous setup. It is my patio area of dreams. I am so happy with this. And you may have seen, one of you may have won one of these furniture sets. Michael Murphy is a furniture shop here in Ireland. We bought our couches in the sitting room from them, and bookshelves. We have a lamp from them. My dad bought some furniture from them. Really love their stuff. They've gorgeous stuff. But it's mad, because you might remember in last month's vlog we were in Architectural Salvage, and I was vlogging and I talked about how we needed garden furniture. We've been looking at garden furniture and stuff, and I'm not even joking. I saw one of those silly reels on Instagram where it was like, say these words aloud and the universe will give you a gift in the next 24 hours, like a law of attraction thing, and it gave you the words to say. And the next morning I got an email basically saying, would you like one of our beautiful Elba rope sofa sets gifted, and we will also give one to one of your followers, in beige or in green. I'm not sure what colour you picked, whoever won, but there's already been 1,200 entries in the first couple of days on Instagram. It is just for Irish followers, because they're an Irish company, but it's so gorgeous. Like, the reel I made was about how it's the patio furniture Bilbo Baggins would have picked. That's the first thing I thought about when I looked at it. It's like Hobbit chic. It's modern, but it's like fits our vibes, you know, like real cozy and classic and timeless and old timey. And yeah, I love them. They're really, really comfortable. Yeah, then we got this parasol yoki for a bit of sun covered to protect the skin. And, you know, if it's drizzling, which it often is here, drizzling, in the dark, it does have like LED lights on it and stuff, which is lovely. Finally got a fire pit. I think I've mentioned in 5 or 6 videos about like when we get a fire pit. It was it's about €100, and it's gorgeous. It looks really old fashioned. And then just some nice cushions and a little outdoor rug, which is already, you know, destroyed, but it brings together the area. I'm a big fan of the YouTuber Caroline Winkler. If you follow her, you'll know what I mean. But the obsession with her channel, like, it's just such a... It's just one of the happiest places on the internet. From her, I have gathered that a rug really ties a room together. And in the same way, like, I just felt like we needed a little area. I love coming out here and just having food with no distraction. And listening to birds. It's just very peaceful out here. And I'm really, really, really happy. It's like a little sanctuary. I forgot to show you, I planted fresh herbs over at the door. And twice now I've come out and taken basil leaves out of the basil plant. And it's just really, really nice. Because we really want to plant veg. So from my view here, just show you kind of our current plan is we want to do a big kind of flower bed over there with like loads of wildflowers and stuff. But we do want to have an area with vegetable beds. And we want to have a few chickens, so we'll need like a chicken run and a coop, and then a swing set for the kids, and like maybe a wooden fence behind the trees at some point. Like, loads of plans, but you know, one thing at a time. Now this little one can sit outside having her dinner.
Okay, here's the situation. I am child free. Thomas has taken the kids off to his mother's house. I have been practicing all morning for a talk I'm giving in Google headquarters. I mentioned this last month, but it's basically a talk about my career. And I'm not sure how many of you have been along for, like, you know, the past 10 years, 12 years. But yeah, writing this and going through all this. How is my life? It was so hard to condense everything into like a 20-minute talk. So I'm talking for 20 minutes to all these like YouTube employees, and then I'm doing a 45-minute Q&A, and I'm really, really nervous. Like, this is the first talk I've done since before the babies, and I haven't worked off of flashcards in so long, so I only have like the main points written out, and the whole speech is on my laptop. I did Google Slides, never used Google Slides before. I used to do PowerPoint, and I was on a Zoom call with the Google folks, and I mentioned about PowerPoint, and they were just like, sorry, what? My taxi's here. I'm not driving myself in to town. I need to learn this off and maybe get a bit of lunch before. But do wish me luck. They did say I can vlog, so I don't know if I'm going to find a good spot to put my camera, but yeah. And I got this dress for a few euro in the charity shop. It is so cute. It has these little yoki majiggies. It has a gorgeous pattern, and I did a temporary nail paint job. I did just like matching kind of lilac. This, because it's not gel nails, I know is just going to chip off very quickly, and I hate chipped nail polish, so I'm probably going to take it off later. But we've made it to Google. Love to see the pride flags. I forgot to bring a hairbrush, and I have so many flyaways, and I tied my hair back just while I was walking through the wind so that I wouldn't look completely mental by the time I get there. Went through this twice since I got into town, so I'm feeling a bit more confident. I also picked up a takeaway coffee. I forgot my reusable coffee mug. I brought my reusable water bottle, but
$4.50. $4.50 for one coffee. I'm so glad we bought our coffee machine. I forgot how much money I used to spend on takeaway coffees. If you're buying one of them a day, wait, I'm going to do this maths. 4 takeaway coffees a day at that price is around €31 a week, €126 a month, $1.5 grand a year. No, what are we doing about the cost of living crisis right now? How much are we spending on the food shop? Thomas and I tried to do a food budget and to figure out how much we're spending on not just like the actual food shopping, but then Drop Chef, which is the dinners service that we get, which does a few dinners a week, like a takeaway-ish a week, the odd coffee out here and there, and it's frightening. Like, it is a mortgage. It is. I want to know where we're shopping, which shop. Are we going to Tesco or Dunnes? Are we doing Lidl or Aldi? Super Value. I need to know all of your information, okay? Because I can't, we don't have very expensive hobbies in terms of we don't go out, drinking and a lot of things that a lot of people do that cost a lot of money. Like, I don't buy lots of amazing fancy clothes. I do a lot of thrift shopping. I rewear stuff over and over again. And yeah, my hair, I haven't had my hair done in ages. I have lots of greys. I just sprayed a root spray in. I haven't been getting my nails done. A lot of things that cost a lot of money I've cut out of my life, but food is one thing that I don't want to sacrifice. I like to buy whole foods, local when I can, organic when I can, just the best quality of food, because that is fueling my entire body. It is making up every cell in my body. I know how important it is, but it's such a big percentage of our wages, and it's out of control. I found a receipt from 2021, a food shopping receipt. You know what I'm like with the ADHD and the hoarding and shoving things in places. But anyway, I found this receipt, and for the basics food shop that we do once a week, where we go and we get all all of the essentials, I know we all sometimes have to pop back out and get bread or whatever, but our essentials now are coming up on double what they were. And yes, we have 2 kids now, not just 1 kid, but she doesn't eat that much. It's sick. It's sickening. So yeah, how are we all feeling about how expensive everything is, and what have you done to reduce your outgoings? There's lots of things we used to splurge way more on. We used to go to way more hotels, way more dinners out. Those are rare treats now, because our house renovation costs an awful lot of money. Maybe if we weren't doing that, we'd have more disposable income, but all of our disposable income gets funneled back into our house because that's an investment. And yes, we're very privileged and very lucky to have that problem. But I'm just trying to put myself in the headspace of someone who, isn't on stupid money and is trying to get by in this environment. I can't get over it. Who's actually buying these? Anyway, I'm going to go and I'm going to shut up and go and embarrass myself on stage. I have to do my techniques. Basically, before every single YouTube video, I do all of these voice exercises. I've made it to this absolutely fabulous room where I just have to get ready. I'm obsessed with the rug. I've spent 2 entire minutes examining this rug up close. But yeah, my makeup is looking okay, I think. I got really sweaty. I might fix the lips. I'm doing my Sculpted by Amy. This is a lip liner and a lipstick on the other end. Oh, I'm shaking. Okay, let's see what my heart rate is. 110 beats a minute, just standing still. 116. Love anxiety. This is good if you're trying to teach yourself that you're safe. If you're trying to feel safe. Maybe slower. Slowing everything down.
So autonomic nervous system is the operating system for the human body. Okay, everybody is sitting here, you're breathing, your heart is beating, you're digesting your lunch, but you're not even thinking about it. We can actually take control and calm the nervous system down. Anybody want to take a guess how we could do that?
She's a voice for positive change, an incredible storyteller, and a YouTube creator who has inspired millions of people with her honest and relevant content. Please give a huge welcome to our big sister, the one and only Melanie Murphy.
To the man that just spoke, that is my current hyper-focus obsession, so thank you for that. I was sitting on the edge of my seat, like, that was so amazing. So welcome to the Aspire conference. My heart is pounding, so just everything he just said, I'm in fight or flight right now. I am a 35-year-old lady who has been creating content on YouTube as a one-man band since 2013, so 12 years now. YouTube, it didn't just give me a job, it gave me an entire career, and it's been one beyond my wildest childhood dreams. Like, from a very young age, as many children do, I used to daydream about writing books, teaching, modeling, directing things, interviewing people. Thanks to YouTube, I have gotten to do all of this and so much more. It's been quite the expedition, and I know that's today's theme. So from showing what's in my handbag before getting the bus to university from my very small rented bedroom.
It's an old Nokia. It's got like buttons and a touch screen, so it's into a world of phones.
From that to I've had publishing deals, I've worked with hundreds of incredible brands, I've won multiple awards, I've gotten over 100 million views across platforms, and I've become a mother to 2 amazing children. This is a real full circle moment for me. So 10 years ago, I stood on this exact spot speaking to advertisers. It was a room full of men, and I was 25. I was extremely intimidated, and this was during an era when no one really had a clue why anyone would watch someone like me. So I have a video to just give you a laugh. Any questions? We actually have a little guy here, and there's a microphone in him. He's fluffy. I can throw him. Does anyone want to ask anything? No. He's lonely. So yeah, they really left me hanging at the end. And so at the time it was near impossible to explain what was going on. During this kind of the early stages of my career, if you had any success on YouTube, if anyone was watching you talking about what you were wearing or what you were eating, and you were paying your bills from that, you were ending up on like Saturday night talk shows and magazine covers and radio, just trying to help people get their heads around it. I know it's a lot more normal now, and Auntie Mary might have a YouTube channel, and your neighbour probably gets millions of views on TikTok, and it's not cringy to be vlogging in public. But yeah, when I started, it was a massive deal. Yeah, like now a lot of young people think that this is like a dream career to aspire to. Whereas when I started, it was, you were a weirdo, like what are you doing? This was one of the moments where I kind of realised that, wow, this is happening, I suppose.
Our next 3 guests have managed to stand out from the crowd and become YouTube stars. Will you please welcome Claire Cullen, Ria Caliph and Melanie Murphy. How did you become a YouTube star, a YouTube sensation?
Talk shite in your bedroom to the camera.
YouTube, it hasn't just changed my life, it's completely shaped my entire life. And though today I'm going to talk you through the journey so far, I do believe this is still just the beginning for me. I foresee myself being 80, making YouTube videos about the plants in my back garden. After AI funnels everyone back to those of us who can prove we're real, because we have pre-2025 uploads on YouTube. Yeah, for those of you who don't know who I am, I'm a very tired mammy of 2 kids. I have a 4-year-old and a 2-year-old. I'm an author of 3 books, 2 novels, and I've spent the past decade helping to carve out the lifestyle content rooted in personal storytelling niche, along with several other vloggers, and it happened completely by accident. When it comes to what I make on YouTube, I think self-care, bit of commentary, I talk about relationships, growing through life's challenges, health, ups and downs, homemaking, all of that kind of thing. And the beauty about what I do is that as I change, my followers do as well. So when I was making skincare content and lots of teenagers were watching me for skincare tips, or in my mid-20s, you know, I was single and talking about dating, and like all those people who followed me for those things now are also having babies and decorating their houses and are facing sagging reflections in the mirror. So a lot of them have stuck with me through all this, and it does maybe sound a bit like I had some kind of master plan when talking about my niche, but it definitely wasn't that. My career has been less professional trajectory with clear path forward, and more Melanie Baggins gets thrust into a chaotic quest by a wizard named YouTube with no map and lots of dragons, and I'd never held a sword in my life. I studied education at college when I started this, and I had no idea what was about to happen. I had no idea how long it would go on for. Yeah, 2 years ago I celebrated my 10-year anniversary making YouTube videos, and this is thank you. And that felt like such a huge moment, and I actually was considering bowing out, because that's what a lot of content creators kind of do. Like, they would do it for a little while and then stop. This is the beginning of the video I posted then.
I passed 500 subscribers. 500 subscribers, that's amazing. Well, actually, as I'm filming this, it's 560.
The storyteller in me feels like it makes sense for me to quit right now. It's like, she got married, she got a house, she has the kids, the end. The credits are rolling, and it's just really awkward, and I'm still here like Friends ended after 10 years, you know. I think even the Harry Potter movies spanned about 10 years, and then they ended.
A lot of your favourite shows only lasted like 10 years or less, like Sex and the City.
That's bad. That means I should...
It's Game of Thrones. What's that?
You're not understanding me. They ended. They ended on my life.
The Simpsons. You could just do a Simpsons.
Oh, no.
And keep going forever. Like 30 years in, still there. Granny vlog.
I love him so much. So yeah, if none of you understand or have seen Lord of the Rings, that was a poor life choice. So being honest with you, a big reason I was kind of considering bowing out was that the internet and social media, as much as I love them, have been like the One Ring for me. So the One Ring in Lord of the Rings is heavy and addictive and all-consuming, and you know, while I have been given this amazing life, it's not been all roses, and there's constantly notifications whispering in my ear, and it's the kind of job that there is no clock in, clock out. The internet doesn't wait, the internet doesn't stop. My brain, even when I'm not working and I can't work, my brain is constantly like, what if I do this, and what if I do this, and write down that note, and it just doesn't stop. Learning to carry my career without it taking over everything has been extremely important. And I think that's why I'm still doing it, because I've figured out how to do that, thank God. So, sticking with the Lord of the Rings theme, because I like to cling to the early 2000s like Sam likes to cling to Frodo. Let's go back to the beginning and this video. So when my expedition began, I was in quite a dark place. I was about 23. And I was drowning in self-doubt. I was on the tail end of an eating disorder. So I was in eating disorder recovery after a very ropey few years. And I had cystic acne, and you know, I was talking to a camera in secret. And YouTube was this place where I just found so much connection there, and it helped me to make sense of myself out loud. At the time, I lived with 3 men, and they weren't having any of, you know, me talking about anything I was interested in, like, you know, beauty products and thrift shopping and exercise and stuff. So I have a lot to thank them for. Yeah, a few months in, when I made this video, I was really big into watching girls talking about beauty and confidence, because I was just trying to constantly make myself feel better and deal with the issues I was having. You know yourself when you're in your early 20s. And when I made this, all the videos that had girls showing how to cover up spots, they'd have like a spot on their chin, or they'd have like model perfect skin. So I kind of saw a gap there, and I felt comfortable filling that gap, because the way YouTube worked back then, it was like you type in something to find something. And I assumed the only people that would see this video would also have acne. And I didn't expect it to go viral and get 18 million views. I didn't expect it to end up in Irish newspapers with the headline "Spot on, Melanie." And you know, it was a crazy one, because people did actually lean in. I expected that loads of people would recoil, but most of the people seeing this were people with acne seeing themselves represented on YouTube for the first time and thanking me and asking me for more. And that was kind of it. Like I was hooked then. Every day me and my dad were texting each other like, another 1,000 subscribers, another 1,000 views. And that was my big Gandalf moment. So it was like, Melanie, we are leaving the Shire. Packing for the journey. So I had very, very, very little starting out on YouTube. I had a cheap camera. I had a really old laptop that kept turning off, and it took an entire day to render a video. I had no good internet. I couldn't upload videos from my house. I had to go to different people's houses to upload. And I just had a bit of vulnerability and stuff to talk about. So like Frodo, I packed light, and I learned on the way. Vulnerability turned out to be the most important ingredient in building my audience. So I have ADHD, and I'm expert at masking. I have a lifetime of masking behind me, and when I started YouTube kind of showed me that vulnerability was a strength and not a weakness. It didn't come naturally to me to open up. And I found that the more I did open up on YouTube, the better I felt, and the more people watched. And so over the years, video by video, I was able to drop the mask like inch by inch. It took a while, but I eventually felt like I'd stopped mimicking all of the YouTubers I liked, and I was finally being myself. And with that, I was like, oh, people don't hate me if I'm just myself. Cool. Some do a lot, but it didn't ruin my life by just being me. I then started to really come out of my shell, felt like I could come out as bisexual. I started talking about all kinds of things on the platform. And in doing that, I also felt like I was standing in my sitting room completely naked, and people had their faces pressed up against my window and they were shouting opinions at me. That's just how it felt at the time. So it was quite a double-edged sword. Being a lifestyle creator is very emotionally exposing. It takes quite a lot of delusion. Like, you have to believe in yourself a little bit more than is rational. And especially because there was no blueprint. There was a handful of YouTubers who'd done it a year or two longer than me who were also doing this as a job. So we were kind of just making things up as we went along. And the job that we do on YouTube is entirely new. Some people call me an influencer, and that is not what I am. My job isn't marketing. It is a part of my job, a little bit of it is marketing. For those of you who don't know how YouTubers make money, brands do support us in a big way. So if I'm putting up an hour-long video, I might have two or 3 minutes sponsored by a brand, and thankfully YouTube gives us a cut of ad revenue, which many other platforms don't, so that really helps creators a lot. But my job is so many things, like scripting, essentially performing, editing, figuring out how to keep someone's attention for not just that video, long periods of time, but consistently across time as well, and to keep them coming back. OG YouTuber Hank Green, does anyone watch Hank Green? He recently talked about this in a YouTube video, and ever since then a lot of us have been chatting amongst ourselves in our group chats, trying to figure out what we are, what is the word for what we are. So I have a clip from his video.
Everyone thinks this is a business, but actually it is a craft. And of course there are businesses around craft, but what I do as a YouTuber is a craft. Most creators today are in most ways like exactly analogous to a musician. They are building an audience by making things that their audience loves. And that's the job. The part where they also do stuff to make a living? Yes, absolutely. But like a musician goes on tour or sells merch or does a brand deal, that doesn't make them a tourer or a merch seller or an influencer.
So yeah, I would love a word for what it is, because, you know, if I'm in a taxi and he's like, oh, so what do? I don't want to go on a spiel about, I edit content for YouTube and I'm an SEO analyst and all of the rest of it. Like, I just say, I have a media company, and I usually change the subject. I would love to just have a term. So if anyone has an explanation for what you think I am, please tell me after this. It is an amazing place to be in, having a loyal audience and being in the position I am with this career. But obviously, there's no amazing job like that where everything is rainbows and everything is perfect. There's a lot of challenges with it. So obviously, if you're in the public eye like I am, you're going to have trolls, like people who have entire websites dedicated to tearing you down, gossiping about every single facet of your life, and algorithm changes, which have become a kind of a expected normal thing, like they happen all the time. But I'll never forget the day when on YouTube it went from the subscription box to the homepage. And we were all just absolutely terrified, and we had to completely adapt and change change how we were going about things. There was the adpocalypse. I'm not sure how many of you have been around since then, but you know, overnight I was like, right, I better stop swearing all the time. I better stop talking about sex in every second video, when I was a single 20-something with little else on my mind. And over the years, the algorithm has become like Sauron, this ever-watching, you know, all-powerful thing that, and I'm just there trying to not get cast into the fires of irrelevance. I've also accidentally become, over the years, a life coach, like an unpaid life coach. So I was spending hours a day responding to very emotional DMs from people who like connected with something I talked about, and then I was trying to coach myself through the fear and the kind of constant overthinking that comes with this job. Therapy helped, so I've been able to put boundaries into place, and I just wish I'd done that job-related therapy sooner. I think maybe my 20s would have been less anxiety-ridden. Also, brand deals. So obviously, when good brand deals came along, very happy to take them. But there's been so much wading through, like, you know, will you promote this skinny tea in your video about body positivity? No, Sharon. And then, you know, there's also like, there's been a lot of bad and ugly brand deals. I've had turned down tens of thousands from Dubai as one example, who were like, let's fly you here and you can show us off as a holiday destination. And that sounds lovely, but I'm LGBTQ+. So, you know, you could only imagine why taking that on would just, you have to have integrity with this job. And I think trust is everything when you're building a career like this. If my audience didn't trust me and felt like they couldn't trust me, I think I'd be dust and I would be just another girl who used to make videos and vanished. There's a lot of those. And there's been bigger dragons on the journey as well, like creative burnout, absolutely massive. It's like a very distinct type of burnout that comes with this job. There's no set holidays, and with maternity leave, I think I gave myself a couple of weeks at most after each baby, and then you're having to log in and people are just like, oh, you don't even have a job. They see the tip of the iceberg, they see like the finished thing and not everything that goes into creating it. And that, you know, it was during the pandemic when I had my babies, so like that, it just kind of all really built up for me. There's also a constant pressure to not be perfect, but to be palatable. So with the ADHD, I'm so messy, and like if I'm vlogging, I will notice myself often, you know, shifting the camera to like show the clean part of the room and things like that. And that kind of perfectionism is not healthy. I feel like that's a stressor, an added stressor on your nervous system constantly in the background. Having my baby split me open, my first baby, and it really changed my identity, obviously. For any of you who have children, you know that what happens, but also my priorities and my ambition kind of it just went onto a little shelf. It's not gone, but I just kind of realized I can't have everything at the same time. And yeah, that was just a massive point on my journey. And during that, I just kept showing up on YouTube because I didn't know what else to do. Like I'd been doing it so long, but I was going through, you know, hair loss and sleep deprivation and weight gain and a wardrobe crisis and all of that. And I just felt like, right, the positives still somehow do outweigh the negatives. So I'm just going to keep posting, and miraculously, like tens of thousands of people stuck with me through all of that. And I just still can't get over that. What's helped is that I've never walked this journey by myself. The whole time I've had viewers to chat to, readers, like running into people in public, and also just fellow creators. I have met some of my best friends through YouTube conventions and events, and these are people that, not just that I can talk to every other day, but they'll send me postcards from their travels, or they'll come stay with me for days on end. They'll have me and my family over in their guest bedroom. So YouTube has brought real genuine connection into my life, and I just can't believe, I can't get over how much of a positive force it's been for me, despite all of the hard parts. Some of the milestones. So as a child, I was writing books when I was, you know, as young as 9 or 10, and I was offered a publishing deal in my teens that I turned down because they wanted first refusal on all future works. I ended up in college and getting so distracted that I put that on the back burner. And thank God, because through YouTube, I was offered a publishing deal by Hachette, who are a really big publishing house. And they were like, will you do a book about, you know, your YouTube channel and life lessons for teenagers? And I said, I will, if you will then let me pitch fiction. And it was kind of like an unwritten agreement. So yeah, we did that. And that first book ended up reaching number 2 in the Irish charts, and it actually ended up on the Irish Leaving Certificate. For those of you who aren't in, thank you. Yeah, that's like our end of school exams. So I still have that at home to show my grandkids. It's like Shakespeare and then me. And yeah, I've gotten to do, you know, lots of speaking events like this. I haven't done one of these since before having babies, so I hope it's not going too badly. But, you know, I've gotten to try presenting awards shows, and I've interviewed, you know, I don't know if that picture's there, but like Shakira, I've had a crush on her since I was a child, and the whole cast of Game of Thrones, and just, you know, Universal Studios closed down so that a few of us could walk around with no cues with our cameras in the dark. And I'm there in like Hogwarts, just with my little camera. And some of the travels I've been on for jobs, like Icelandair emailed me one day, do you want to go to Iceland and just, and we'll pay you? Okay. I got to go up a mountain in Spain and watch a feminist porn film being made, as you do. It's been a very interesting job. Really, it's been unbelievable. I have my entire honeymoon phase with my relationship on camera. I have a real time machine, and there's just no words for what that feels like. I could never explain how much the website means to me. I'm literally getting goosebumps, but like it's my entire life. I just can't. So yeah, like when it comes to success, a lot of young people will think, you know, oh, the numbers and getting books on shelves, like that's success. But for me, when I try and even talk to my family about this, it's like explaining I get to wake up and make stuff that feels true, and just use my creative muscle in and around nappy changes and the school runs. I don't have to have a childminder, and I get to pay my bills with that. And like that just I'm never gonna not be extremely grateful for that. Like that, I'm not like a super rich YouTuber with millions in the bank or anything, but I do feel like the richest person alive. So success, I've completely redefined success on my journey. And then from mountaintop to bag end. So like I've gone from extreme high highs, and then I threw some children in the mix. And since then I've kind of retreated a bit. Like I post on YouTube maybe twice a month now. I spend a lot more time just kind of submerged in family life and growing herbs in my back garden, a garden I only own because of YouTube. And I'm trying to refill the well, so I'm spending more time consuming stories rather than constantly just telling stories. And I'm not chasing numbers anymore on YouTube. I make reels on Instagram as well, and my reels very often go viral and get millions of views, but it's like a little dopamine hit. I make no money on Instagram, you know, some people will stick along for the ride, but YouTube is where the community is, and that's so much more valuable, especially now when anyone can go viral. I just think having important conversations is all I care about. What's next? So for me, I just want to keep hanging out where I'm at the moment for a while, just making little cozy videos and silly reels, and you know, being with my kids and maybe a little side business. But the biggest thing that, you know, I mentioned the guy who was chatting before me, the biggest thing in my life at the moment is learning how to take care of my nervous system. Early last year, had a massive health crash, mentally and physically. It's like dysregulated doesn't explain it. Different doctors said different things, you know, long COVID, fibromyalgia, CFS, all these things. I had like 50 symptoms, and I was in and out of A&E, like screaming on the floor, like mortified if anyone recognised me. And that was from chronic stress, like a long time of just things building up, and then, you know, you're trying to run a business and breastfeeding all night, and just everything that comes with motherhood and not having holidays from work. So yeah, all of the things that your man was chatting about there, but like the stuff that old people talk about, you know, bit of breathing, bit of nature, you know, nice sleep. I take my shoes off when I'm walking on the grass. I eat whole foods. I have cold showers. I do so much reading and listening to things about the nervous system, because it's something we don't learn about in school. And to the person who asked earlier, the other chap, about what happens after you get used to living in chronic stress, don't, please don't. I've had to put in big boundaries. Like, I don't do work in the evenings anymore. Lots of stuff like that. It's just been really important. So like, what have I learned on this journey that might help you on your own expedition? You don't need to know where it ends. You just need to take those first steps. Remember, even Frodo had a meltdown on Mount Doom, and my Mount Doom changes all the time. Right now it's AI. None of us know what the internet is going to look like in a year. We've never been able to say that before, really. But I just believe that living in terror is just as useless as shouting at the tide for coming in. Like, it's happening and there's nothing we can do about it. We can only learn how to swim and enjoy the cold water on our skin. So earlier I showed you that girl with the old phone. Like, she swore she'd never own a smartphone and went on to build an entire career with one. So just don't be so sure about what's going to happen. Take those first steps and see where you end up.
So that happened. Okay, look, if you made it through all of that, I would like to give you a golden star sticker, because that was long, and I know it didn't have all like effects and wasn't super like engaging to watch, but such a pinch me career moment. I have to have that in a video somewhere because I like to go back and look at stuff from years ago. As I said in the talk, this is a time machine. Anyway, it used up all of my vlog camera battery, so that's why we've got the big girl out, the Canon DSLR with the Mikey mic for this month's film chats. I know some of you look forward to this segment each month. This month, as I mentioned on Instagram stories, I want to talk about The Truman Show, one of my all-time favourite movies. It's about a man who unknowingly, since his birth, has lived inside a meticulously crafted reality TV show, only to gradually discover the truth and seek and find his freedom. But I want to talk about how this movie kind of predicted influencer culture. That'll be kind of the theme of the chats. But yeah, this film starred Jim Carrey at his absolute peak. It also features probably one of the most powerful love stories I've ever seen. Like, it makes me so emotional every time I watch it. And yet this love story hardly gets any screen time at all. The score absolutely wrecks me every time. But yeah, I want to start with my favourite line from the movie. We accept the reality of the world with which we're presented. That line, I think about it so often when I'm scrolling, when I'm editing, when I'm deciding what to film for these videos, or like, yeah, when I'm thinking about whether what I'm showing is real or just the most palatable, acceptable version of real. I would like to propose that The Truman Show wasn't just a film, it was a prophecy, a chillingly accurate warning about a world where we live for an audience, where our lives are products. Truman was the first influencer and he didn't even know it, didn't have a choice. He didn't opt in as people do these days. So he lives in this really safe, boring world, and every moment of his life is monitored. A lot of the moments are sponsored. He's like very family friendly and he's comforting and familiar for the people that watch him, like the internet personalities that we all watch and like to follow, like me, like people who share their routines and food shopping lists. Who remembers Big Brother? Is that still a thing? Anyway, I remember back in 2000, I think it was 2000, watching the first season of Big Brother, like just like, oh my god, this is amazing. And that was 2 years after Truman unknowingly lived in a constructed reality for public entertainment. 2 years later, loads of people are knowingly doing the same thing. And now Big Brother is in all of our lives. Like, not just people like me either. You know, if you have a smartphone, a smart TV, you use TikTok, you click on those websites and you hit accept cookies. We live in a world where our personal data is analysed and monitored, often without our consent or our awareness even. And our attention is currency. And back kind of on the Tattle conversation from earlier, like people watch everyday human beings living their lives and kind of just like forget that they're just people, and they'll gossip and speculate because it becomes just entertainment. I want to ask you what you think. If a person chooses to share their life in the way that I do, does that mean they've forfeited any right to privacy, like any privacy? I hate how much I relate to Truman when I'm watching this film, and I hate how much I relate to the audience, because the film frequently jumps from what's being watched to the people watching. And, you know, the things they're saying, like there's a bit where him and the wife are about to have sex and this man is just like, oh, sure, they never show anything anyway. You know, like there's always a curtain billowing, or you never got to see anything. Just kind of showing how people are not viewing him as a person. And I actually like envy this character. The fact that he doesn't know that these people are watching, and like the things that they're saying and thinking about his face and his personality and his sex life and everything else. Like the freedom of not being aware of being perceived constantly. And like what I wouldn't give to have the benefits of my job without that, like without being able to see all of the horrible things that people think of me. Obviously that's not possible, but yeah, this film just brings up for me a lot of questions like, am I living for myself or for you? There's a lot of things I want to do. I want to be doing with my spare time. I want to join a choir. I want to join the local choir. I want to do local theatre in my town. There's so many things that I want to do, and I kind of put them off because I know how much of my time I would be putting toward those things, and then I'm just kind of like, oh yeah, but who's gonna care? Like, who's gonna care if I'm talking about that? I'm trying to care less about that, like by talking about gardening, and you know, I'm trying to just give myself the permission to talk about stuff I am interested in, like movies and food, and yeah, still though, like, where is the line between authenticity and performance? I don't know. Like, how do I know when I'm making choices on what I'm posting because it's, you know, just a bit of joy, or like it'll do well for the brand, whatever the brand is. I think in my Google talk I was supposed to speak a bit about like being a brand, and I know that I technically am a brand and every content creator is, but I just have such a little grasp on what is my brand, and have I consciously done things in a certain way to be a certain brand? Like, it's such a grey, blobby area for me. Anyway, in the Truman Show, he starts to feel the cracks over time. He hears a voice come through on the radio describing exactly where he is while he's driving, like documenting his every move, and props are like malfunctioning, and strangers know his name, and the way he reacts, and just like the kind of paranoia, like that kind of, I get that. I feel that so hard. Like, am I real? Is this real? Because we create these online identities. We do, even if we don't realize it. We're sharing a character based on ourselves, sometimes loosely. Sometimes we're presenting who we wish we were all the time. Like, maybe it's a part of us. Sometimes people in this industry do have to be extremely fake. I've known people who've literally just lost a family member, but they've been like roped into a contract and they've had to just pull on the face. The face. Like, I notice my accent changes when I'm recording. Less so now. Still definitely change. Like, I speak a bit differently when I know there's a camera on. I overpronounce things, and the more we share, the longer we share for, the harder it becomes to know where the audience ends and where the self begins. And Truman's audience, they can buy everything in his life, from his clothes to his furniture to his lawnmower to his toothpaste. Product placement and like sponsorships are littered throughout the movie. Sound familiar? This is what influencer culture has become, you know, making your reality shoppable. And I'm not judging, like, I'm not naming names here. No, I don't do this, but many do, and it means that they can take on less sponsors. But what a lot of people do, especially on Instagram, is they have like a link where they have hundreds upon thousands of affiliate links to items they own. Many items they don't own, just sometimes it's items they like. But yeah, they'll link all the things in their house, all the things they wear, all the makeup, beauty products, skincare, stuff featured on their social media. And a long time ago, when that became like a thing that people do, it just became really hard for me to follow certain people anymore, or like to trust their recommendations. There's some people I still follow who do this, but like I don't quite understand why so many people will share a dress, just a picture of a dress from Zara, and like, I love this dress, this is so me, I'd wear this to a cocktail party or whatever, but like, they've not bought it, but they're sharing it and putting an affiliate link. And so yeah, it's kind of like their page then has this feeling of being a catalogue. And then when it comes to like other things they share, and when it's always linked, I get this just feeling, I'm just like, are you just sharing this so that you make a percentage of each sale generated through clicking the link? Because that's how affiliate links work. And my management are always at me about, you know, you need to link more things on your stories. I've shared a few links to things, but it's so rare, like maybe one link a month. There's people who post like 20 links a day. And yeah, my management have been like, you need to be able to show that you link things a lot because brands like to see that you very frequently link products on your stories or whatever. So I'm like such a crap influencer. But yeah, it's just this movie, just like human beings have become brands. And I've tried to go against that, but like I still work, I work with sponsors. I have the odd sponsor, and yeah, to kind of get around the whole linking thing, it just makes it easier that I buy so much second-hand stuff. I feature a lot of stuff without mentioning, you know, like my makeup and stuff. Like I don't, under all my videos, you won't find like a list of every single product in the video with an affiliate link beside it. And even though sometimes people ask me, I'll just reply directly to that person. They're like, what lipstick are you wearing? I'll reply and tell them. I do take sponsors. I'm not saying like, I'm not like other girlos. But yeah, it's just where it gets murky, because I love sharing and connecting online, and I'm endlessly grateful that people care at all about my life and that I get to do this as a job. But when every moment of a video is potentially monetizable, it's just hard to see that line, like what's being shared for me and what's being shared for the algorithm. Back to that line, we all accept the reality of the world with which we're presented. You know, the filtered, edited images online. A lot of people now are accepting AI stuff and thinking that's real, and it's not. We all accept like hustle culture and working a 9-to-5 job and barely seeing the family just because, you know, that's reality, even though it doesn't have to be. Like success metrics and just even the expectations we attach to getting older and aging. Like I grew up thinking that you just, getting older just means you naturally shrivel up like a little raisin, and only for the internet. Like I wouldn't have known that actually if you keep like lifting weights, eating healthy, all this, you can be fitter when you're 65, 70 than you were at 20 if you were a teenager that didn't look after yourself. So many veils are being lifted thanks to the kind of content I consume online, but because of algorithms, like some people get sucked into awful little corners of this internet. Like for a while I got really deep in the chronic illness community, and people say things in that community that you then just take on the beliefs so deep in your bones. And I took on beliefs about myself and my health condition early last year that were not true. They just weren't. We can question the reality with which we're presented. We can. I can turn off this camera and keep certain things for myself. Anyway, the ending of the movie where he like hits the sky, like he's in a boat and the boat like bangs into the sky and he ends up going up through the little door. It's just like 10-finger chef's kiss. I would love to know your thoughts on this movie, please. Please talk to me about movies down below. I want to talk about movies all day. This video is way too long. So I'm going to go and have a bath now. And in case I don't see you, good afternoon, good morning and good night.